On behalf of our Upstate Cancer Center team, I'd like to welcome you to the 24th Annual National Cancer Survivors Day. Though we're once again coming to you via video, we are starting to see the light and slowly returning to a new normal as more cancer patients and survivors get the COVID vaccine. It's been a challenging year for many, but it's in times like this that I'm even more amazed, inspired, and humbled by the unbreakable spirit and resilience of cancer patients, survivors, and their families. Please enjoy this presentation in partnership with the Rosamond Gifford Zoo as we bring the zoo to you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Rosamond Gifford Zoo. We're so excited to be welcoming you again this year to this virtual program. The animals and the staff are really excited to welcome you all back. In September, we're going to be opening a new animal health center, which we're going to welcome guests and especially little children in to see what we do and how seriously we take animal welfare here at the zoo. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the future here at the zoo.
Hi, my name is Travis. This is Tyler, and this is one of our male Bacterian camels. His name is Patrick. He just turned 4 years old. So these guys are actually native to northern China and Mongolia. They're perfectly suited for the weather here in Syracuse because, as you can see, they have a really long, thick coat here that helps protect them from cold weather. They also have a lot of other adaptations that let them survive in cold weather. So, as you can see, they have really wide front feet, and those act like a snowshoe to kind of help them balance and walk in shifting sand and snow. They also have the ability to close their nostrils off completely, so when it's snowing out or there's a lot of sand blowing around in a sandstorm, they can actually close their nostrils off to keep from inhaling sand and snow. You can see they have these really long eyelashes. Tyler can probably show you those really long eyelashes that help to block out, again, sand and snow to keep their eye protected. So these guys eat just about anything they can get their mouths on. In the wild, again, they do live in a desert. They live in the Gobi Desert, so there's not a lot of food availability, right? So as you can see, he was just trying to go over there for the cypress tree. They'll eat anything. They're indiscriminate browsers. One of their favorite foods here at the zoo is carrots. You can see Tyler's rewarding him for certain behaviors with the carrots. So that's a training tool that we use as positive reinforcement to capture those behaviors that we want. So Tyler's just showing you that they can open their mouths up. They're trained for a lot of different behaviors that help them participate in their own health care. So what that means is we can inspect their mouths, we can look at their teeth, make sure there's no damage. Just like when you go to the dentist to get your teeth looked at, make sure they're healthy, we have to check their teeth, make sure they're healthy too. So these guys can live over 40 years in human care, and he's 4 years old, so he's just a baby. He's around 1,900 pounds right now. He might gain a few more pounds, but he's pretty much full grown. So Tyler can show you, one of the common misconceptions about camels is that their humps are filled with water. It's actually not true. They're filled with fat, and they are flexible, they do move around, and they use that as a fat store when there's not a lot of food around, so they can draw that fat when they can't eat, and then they can build that fat back up when there's plentiful food in the wet season where they live. So another thing that they can do is they can actually store water in their blood. So their red blood cells have the ability to store 250% of the water that they normally can carry, and they store that water in their bloodstream, so when they go and they actually do find water in the desert, they drink as much as they can, and their body absorbs that and it carries it throughout in the bloodstream, and when they need it, when they can't find water, they just draw it out from their blood. So that's pretty interesting. But these guys are awesome. They're very intelligent. We're really excited to have them here at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo, and we're excited to keep working with them and using them as an outreach animal to kind of bring people closer to them so that they can learn about them and care about them.
Hi everyone, my name's Hannah and I'm a zookeeper here at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo. And today we're going to be watching some red panda footage. Our red pandas are named K2 and Simone. Simone is 6 years old and K2 is 9 years old. They are a breeding pair. Red pandas are endangered. So they're here under what's called an SSP, or a species survival program. So we're hoping that they'll breed and we'll be able to contribute to the survival of their species through that species survival program. Red pandas are found in the Himalayas, mainly India, China, Bhutan, Myanmar, and Nepal are the 5 main countries that they're found on. So they're found pretty high up in the mountains. They're used to colder climate. They like our winters and even our falls and springs. All right, so here with us is K2. He's our zoo's male red panda and he is 9 years old. And he came to us for breeding. A really cool thing about K2 is he was actually born in New Zealand. So he had to make quite a flight to get here, but we were really excited to have him. He's actually considered one of the most valuable red pandas in the North American population. Since they are endangered and since he's not related to any of the other red pandas in the North American population, it's really important that he breeds and helps spread his genes. So we're really hoping that he has babies. So far, he's actually had 6 different cubs, not with the female that we have currently, but with a female that we used to have, and her name was Tabai. So right now he's eating grapes. In the wild, in addition to bamboo, they would eat a lot of different types of fruit, usually berries and stuff like that that's going to grow in the trees. In the wild, they live in forests, as you can see right now. Since they're not down with me, our pandas are up in one of our trees. They are really great climbers. They spend pretty much their whole day up in the tree. And if you're looking for a cool word, the word for that is arboreal, meaning to live in the trees. So you can see these beautiful red markings on his face. No 2 pandas have exactly the same faces. The lines that come down from his eyes, those are called tear stain markings. They're not from like tears or anything like that. It's just the way that their fur is colored. And some pandas have really dark, kind of like K2 does, and some have really, really light ones, so light that you almost can't see them.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben. I'm one of the educators here at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo, and today we're going to be talking about the giant Pacific octopus. If you're a visitor here at the zoo, you might see Talaro, who is a young giant Pacific octopus, and you can't quite spot her. She might be hiding up along the edges. They do have the ability to disguise themselves incredibly well. Giant Pacific octopuses have the ability to both change the color of their skin as well as the texture, which allows them to be very good at living at the bottoms of the ocean while they look for their favorite foods. Pacific octopus is also the largest octopus species in the world. It can grow into the 100-pound range and even be at the record of 20 feet from arm tip to arm tip. One thing that's incredible about Talaro is they do not have, all octopus do not have bones. They do have a strong beak, which is how they grab and pull apart their food. But that beak on Talaro here, even though it might look a couple feet across, is about the size of a quarter, which means that they can actually squeeze through any cavity or hole that's the size of their beak. So no matter how big the octopus is, they can squeeze into incredibly small cavities in the rocks at the bottom of the ocean floor and hide from predators and even sneak up on prey that don't see them even coming. My favorite thing to see here at the zoo is when our octopus is right up on the glass and you can see all the individual suckers on every arm. These suckers are not just to move and hold on to things, they can also smell through them. So that's actually how they detect their food in the water. So our keepers will be up above, dripping some of the fish oil on the water, and Talaro will wake up and swim right out because that is how they're smelling what's in the water. So it's pretty neat that they don't only have the ability to hold on to incredible surfaces, but they also can smell and sense what's around them. When living in the ocean, especially deep in the Pacific, you have to have some cool adaptations. And one of those is actually that they have more than one heart. They'll have 3 hearts, which allows them to make sure they have the proper oxygen for all their motion, as well as keeping their 9 brains oxygenated. So amazing, they have 9 brains. Not only are they intelligent, they also have these amazing abilities to move all these body parts in conjunction with each other and figure out problems. So they will use these multitude of brains to find their food, protect themselves from predators, find their prey, as well as live in these incredible habitats.
Hi guys, thank you for joining us today. My name is Jen. I'm one of the small mammal keepers here at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo. And we have Aranya with us. She is one of our Hoffman's two-toed sloths. There are 6 species of sloth in the world. They're broken down into 2-toed and 3-toed. And they get that name from these beautiful 2 little toes that they have on the front here. So even though they have 3 toes on the back, the 2-toeds will just have 2 on the front, and the 3-toeds will have 3 on the front. So Aranya is our youngest sloth that we have here. She is 7 years old. She was born right here at the zoo. Her birthday is August 1st, 2013. So she still is a younger one. These guys will live to be about 40 years old in zoo settings. So she is the youngest that we have here. And this kind of is her trademark look here with her tongue sticking out on the side here. So in the wild, you'll find these guys in Central and South America. And those toes, the way they're adapted and they hook. So pretty much how you see her right now is how you're gonna see them in the wild as well. They do everything from eating, sleeping, mating, even giving birth, hanging up in the trees like this. Kind of how you're seeing her too is also kind of the speed that they're gonna go. They do kind of move around. She might move around on the branch with us today, but they are quite slow. They have a very slow metabolism. It can take a long time, about a month, for them to digest a whole meal. So they only actually go to the bathroom about once or twice a week, which isn't very often. So that is one of the few times that they will come down to the ground. But when they're up in the trees, with their slow speed, and they actually get algae that grows on their hairs. They have little kind of grooves in their hairs here. So they'll get a nice green tint. And that, coupled with their slow speed, is great camouflage from any predators that would be coming for these guys in the wild. So different cats, different big reptiles and birds that might be looking for them, they are excellent at hiding up in the treetops there.
Hello everyone, my name is Lucas and this is Jekyll. And Jekyll is an African pied crow. So Jekyll came to us in the year 2000, so she's been here for a while. Here's her greeting call. There we go, good girl. That's her little greeting that she likes to give. And she's lived here ever since, being a great ambassador to show people how amazing crows are and why we should like them so much. So as their name suggests, they are found in Africa, and they behave a lot like our crows that you see around here. They're very intelligent, as all crows are. They're a social bird, and they're intelligent, and they actually problem solve pretty well. They have intelligence enough that they actually use tools in some cases to find food items. They can use sticks to probe into holes. There's actually been tests performed with crows to see how intelligent they are, and they can do multiple step problems using multiple different tools to get to their food items. In some cases, some crows can do as many as 10 steps in one process just to get one food item out of a container or something. And this is Anakin. And Anakin is a Harris hawk. Harris hawks are found down in the southwest of our country and down in through Mexico and South America. They're often found in arid areas, so you find them in the deserts. They are very unique of their hunting style. So Harris hawks in the raptor world hunt in packs. So in the raptor world, that's pretty rare. A lot of raptors hunt solitary. Their hunting style is usually short bursts of flight. They're kind of like short distance sprinters, as opposed to other raptors like falcons. If I can have Anakin open his wings here, his wings are a little bit rounded at the end. So they're rounded off to help them kind of maneuver through a crowded forest if they happen to be in one, or move through brush and things like that to do their short sprints, where falcons have long, sharp wings that come to a point at the end, making them super aerodynamic. So the falcons hunting in the air for other birds, they can do fast aerodynamic dives to catch their prey in open air. So built a little bit differently. Usually looking at birds, you can kind of tell things about their hunting style by their adaptation. So their wing shape, their beak shape, and things like that.
Hi, my name is Cassie. I'm one of the elephant keepers here at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo. Here at the zoo, we have 6 Asian elephants. The easiest way to tell that we have Asian elephants is by looking at their ears. Our elephants' ears are smaller than their heads and in the shape of India. African elephants' ears are larger than their heads and in the shape of Africa. That's one of the easiest and fastest ways to tell the difference between the two species. Another difference between the two species are their tusks. Asian elephants, only males grow large tusks. Our females do have smaller tusks. They're called tushes. They just don't grow as long or as large as the males. In the African species, both males and females will grow large tusks. Asian elephants are herbivores, which means they eat lots of plants, fruits, and veggies. Here at the zoo, our elephants eat about 180 pounds of food a day each. Most of that here is hay, but they do get a diet of some grains, some fruits, vegetables, vitamins, and minerals as well. Elephants use their trunk for eating, just like we use our hands. Their trunk is an elongation of their nose and their upper lip. It has over 100,000 muscles and ligaments in it, and there's no bones, so it's extremely dexterous. At the tip of their trunk, they have a single finger-like projection that kind of acts like a finger and allows them to pick up things as small as a dime lying flat on the ground or a single blade of grass. So here at the zoo, 4 of our elephants are related to each other. We have 2 mother and daughter pairs, Romney and Karina, and Targa and Molly, and Karina and Molly are actually half-sisters. Asian elephant herds are mainly consisted of adult females and their offspring. As young males mature and grow up, they'll eventually move out of the herd and form loose bachelor herds, or be solitary. So you might see Doc, our adult male, by himself, or you might see him as part of the herd as well. But mainly herds are females and their offspring. So we're lucky enough that we have 2 mother and daughter pairs that consist of a main part of our herd.
Hi, my name's April, and this is Egon. Egon is a Eurasian Eagle Owl and the largest species of owl in the world. Eurasian Eagle Owls are native to Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa, and can be found from Siberia all the way down to Ethiopia. They inhabit many, many different types of habitat, from grasslands to mountains to plains. Ooh. Yeah. One of the neatest things about owls is they have really, really good hearing and extremely good eyesight. They usually are both sight and sound hunters, and they can fly almost completely silently. What's really neat about his plumage is that it has almost a ruffled edge to it, where it's not quite a sharp edge to his feathers, and that helps with air dissipation when he flies, meaning that he can fly almost completely silently when he's sneaking up on prey. What's really interesting about their ears, owls actually have asymmetric ears, meaning one is up high and one is down low, and they're able to use those ears to triangulate, essentially, their prey when they hear them out in the wild. What's also really interesting about owls, a lot of people think that owls can turn their heads all the way around. That's not 100% true. They can't do a full 360-degree turn, but they can do about 180 degrees. And that's because they have 7 more vertebrae in their neck than we do, so 7 extra cervical vertebrae, which means that they're able to turn their head almost all the way around. Now, the reason why they need to do that is because owls have extremely large eyes. Their eyes are so large that they're actually fixed in their sockets, meaning that even though we can keep our head in one place and still look from one side to the other, owls can't do that. Their eyes are so large that they're not able to move them around in their socket, which is why they are able to move their head around at such a great degree, because they can't move their eyes in their socket. All right, buddy, don't look at me, look at the camera. I know.
Here at the zoo, currently we actually have 4 snow leopards. Right now you're only going to see 2 of them. Snow leopards are solitary animals, meaning they live by themselves. You are going to see 2 though, because right now we have a mom and her daughter, and that's the only time that they would be in social groups generally, is a mom with cubs. Marcy's getting pretty big, so you might have a hard time telling who is who. She is about 50 pounds, while her mom is about 80 pounds. Snow leopards are found in the Himalayas, which is, very mountainous region. They're used to steep angles and tall rocks, and they are able to jump those and run along those with no problem. They have amazing balance. As you see these guys kind of move around and play, you'll see their long tails kind of moving with them, and that kind of works like a beam that a tightrope walker would carry as they go across a tightrope, and it acts as a counterbalance to be able to keep them from falling over or falling off the sides of cliffs or trees and stuff like that as they move around. Snow leopards, like their name says, are built for snow. If you look at them, they have really big feet compared to their body size, and then compared to cats, other cats of similar body size. As they're running along the snow, those really big feet are going to keep them from sinking in too far and getting stuck in the snow, so they'll be able to chase after their prey. Snow leopards are often called the ghosts of the Himalayas because they're really hard to spot. Right now you'll probably see Danya and Marcy playing, so they're pretty easy to spot. But if you come to our exhibit, sometimes if they're laying even out in an open space, it might take you a few minutes to find them because they blend in with the rock work really well. Marcy was actually born here last year. She'll be celebrating her first birthday very soon. And she is an amazing addition to our population because snow leopards are an endangered species. We breed them here under a species survival program, which we are really excited about. Marcy also has a really cool backstory. When she was just a few weeks old, we discovered that she had swimmer syndrome, which means that her back legs weren't developing properly. Normally by a few weeks old, you should see a cub getting its back legs underneath it and starting to put some weight up on their legs, but she wasn't able to do that. Her legs would kind of just scooch back and forth to the side. So we were very fortunate. We were able to work with vets at Cornell and go into contact vets at the Bronx Zoo who dealt with snow leopards with similar situations. And we were able to give her physical therapy and rehabilitate her. As you can see, she's jumping around and climbing on Mom, and she acts completely like a normal snow leopard today. So we're very thankful for her recovery and that we were able to keep her with Mom the whole time that we were doing that physical therapy with her.
All right, hi, my name is Sarah. I'm one of our educators at the zoo, and this is my friend Nueve over here. Nueve means 9 in Spanish, and she is what we call a golden conure. Golden conures are also called golden parakeets. They are native to Brazil, so you would not find them around here in the backyard. They are from the rainforest, and if you guys are all watching her and saying hello, I want you guys to put your little finger up like this and give Nueve a proper hello. Everyone say, hi, Nueve. Did you hear that? If you missed that, we'll try it again. So Nueve does speak a little bit. She is saying hi, Nueve. One more time. Hi, Nueve. Good girl. Good job. And I'm actually giving her a bunch of different types of treats for good behavior here. You'll notice that she's doing some stuff on this perch while she's looking at you guys because she gets really, really excited. But at the zoo, we want to make sure that she stays nice and healthy. So we do a lot of different training with her and try to get some behaviors out of her so that she can stay nice and happy. In the wild, they're going to be always doing stuff, so we want to make sure that she stays nice and busy. If you guys give me your little finger right now, let's say hi to Nueve again. There we go. Do you guys see what she's doing? She's actually waving to you, so everyone give Nueve a nice wave. Good job. And high five. Awesome. I'm sure you guys at home want to see some of her awesome behaviors that she does know how to do. Because of that intelligence level, I like to do training with her to keep her mentally stimulated so she keeps practice and does all these kinds of things. So at home, I want you guys to think, what kind of noise does a snake make? Everyone go ahead and do it with me. That's right, they hiss. They go hiss. Now listen closely. Nueve. What's a snake do? They hiss. Good girl. How about a kitty? Did you guys hear that at home? They purr. Good job, Nueve. And her favorite is coming up. So she lived and went outside and she could hear some of the chickens in the barn. There she goes. She just did a chicken. One more time for us, Nueve. Can you be a chicken? Good girl. And we're going to pause right there for a second. Good girl while you eat your little treat. You still waving? She's showing off. This is what's called zygodactyl. She's got 2 toes in the front and 2 toes in the back. And this is to help them grip onto branches. It's a lot different from a chicken's toes where they're meant to walk flat on the ground. So she can grip that tree branch and she can hang right upside down like this and she can reach really far for whatever it is that she's trying to get. Also, maybe a wind or something kind of blew her, so she's got to hang on and then she can upright herself back onto the rainforest trees so she doesn't go to the ground. Can we dance for everybody today? Everybody at home want to dance with us? Can you dance? Good girl, Nueve. Yeah, you're rocking it, huh? Good job. So you can see she does try to show off a little bit. She's very entertaining. It is a lot of work having a bird at home. They have an intelligence of around a 1 or a 2-year-old child, so she's very smart. It's up to the keeper's job to keep them nice and enriched and give her plenty of stuff to get into.
So here at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo, we have 2 tigers currently. Timbu, who is a 10-year-old male, and Zaya, who is a 3-year-old female. Zaya just recently came to our zoo last fall, and Timbu came the previous year in the winter. They are a breeding pair. They are an endangered species and under a species survival program. So we are very hopeful for them that we'll be able to breed them in the future and have cubs at our zoo. Amur tigers are found in Russia, pretty far north. They used to be called Siberian tigers, but were renamed Amur tigers because they're found in the Amur region, the Amur Valley of Russia. So it's just a more specific name to their geographical region. Amur tigers are very built for snow. They have very thick coats, and you can see as you're looking at them, they're very large-bodied animals. They have big paws to be able to walk on the snow and keep their balance, and that thick fur keeps them very warm. A very cool thing about tigers is that all of their stripes are unique, very similar to like a human fingerprint. No 2 tigers have exactly the same stripes, and that stripe pattern goes all the way down into their skin. So if you were to shave a tiger down, their stripes would be in their skin too. A fun fact about tigers here is if you look at the globe, Syracuse and about where the region that tigers are found are on the same longitudinal line. So they have very similar climates where it does get some warmer in the summer, but also really cold in the winter. So they do still enjoy our summers. You might get a chance to see our tigers enjoying their pool, especially on those hot days. They really like to take a dip in the pool and keep cool. Timbu especially, he likes our lower pool because it's nice and shallow and he can just sit in there kind of like a little hot tub. So in the wild, tigers are naturally solitary animals, meaning that they live by themselves. The only time that you'd see 2 of them together is during breeding season or a female with cubs. So we are lucky we have 2 big exhibits where you can see our tigers interacting at the fence line, but they each have their own territory similar to the wild, where one's on one side and the other's on the other side, and they might come together and greet each other periodically, but they don't actually live together. We are looking for signs too, since they are young, and we are hoping to breed of good relationships on each side of the fence to see some good interactions. Tigers will do a behavior and a vocalization called chuffing, where they make like a sound, and that's their greeting. So if they're doing a lot of that towards each other and they're kind of like rubbing their faces on the mesh a lot, our female might roll around. That's a sign that she could be coming close to estrus, which would be when we would breed them.